Hi Bernhard,
Hi,
long time
Carsten.
no see. So
Yep.
Bernhard, this is a video we had a bit of preparation for, right? So I
Mhm.
guess we invested already 2 full days.
Yeah. So setting up, the scaling plan took us a little bit. So what is Azure Virtual Desktop's scaling plan, or why would we use a scaling plan for? Well,
Hmm.
it's for saving money, right? Because we talked a little bit about the billing model. And if you would use Azure Virtual Desktop session hosts on HCI, you would pay per use, which means as long as they are running, the counters in Azure are ticking for it, right? So it would make sense to save money, for example, if um, um, to align
Yeah,
a
our
little bit.
users have a time. Your users don't work 24 by 7. They
Yeah,
only work
yeah,
mainly on weekdays and then
yeah,
in a special time frame, right? So what
right.
time
So
frame would it be?
well, a 9 to 5, right? So that's
Yeah.
usually where most of the work should be done, at least in the office, or even for the commuters or for the people that are working outside of the office. So we think, we may want to have at least, a percentage of the hosts available during the work week, and then 20% of the resources may be available, after hours for the late workers.
Hmm.
Don't take the numbers as granted, right? I mean, it's something that is flexible. It depends a little bit on your environment. And there's also something that is dynamic to it, right? So the
Hmm.
percentage of the session hosts that are online is depending on the number of users that are trying to connect to the desktops. Right, so
Hmm.
there will be some auto scaling mechanism involved with it, and not only an upward scaling, but also a downward scaling depending on the daytime where we are at, right?
Hmm.
Um, and yes, we can definitely confirm, and that's the reason why it took us a little bit longer, because we want to simulate that. Um, and we have, set up the tool or a tool for simulating the log on with multiple users in order to demonstrate the working or how it works, right?
Yeah,
But before we
before
actually,
there are demands,
yeah,
we got the tool. It's not a Microsoft tool. It's from someone else, and he gave us
yeah,
the tool because we have this problem. But unfortunately, we
mhm,
can't give the tool to other people. So we can't give it to you, but we can use it
yeah.
and
We
show you
promise.
the effects. Yeah.
Yeah, I promised Marcel Moura to give him a thank you for providing that tool. So he's also
Yeah.
a Microsoft MVP for Azure Virtual Desktop with the focus of it, and he wrote that tool.
So if you want the
For,
tool, you have to ask
go
him.
to him. Yeah, go to him. Okay, but there
You
is one
mentioned the
thing.
name, and of course, we
Well,
were a big thank you to Marcel because
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
problem to have, let's say, 10 users even
mm,
log on in a demo, but we will
yeah,
do it with 160, right? So
right,
that's
right.
really, really
Yeah,
something.
quite impressive,
Okay,
and it worked.
so
Okay,
yeah.
there there are some. So we talked about the reasons and the why, but now we'll need to talk a little bit about the how. And there's also some permissions that we need to do, or to do some preparations. So there is an article around there. So at the bottom there is the link to it, and if you navigate to that link, you would see that there are some prerequisites that needs to be done, some permissions that need to be
Yeah.
assigned, and that's basically something that we need to do in order to make it work. Why?
Hmm.
Because the scaling plan is an automatism that will not only launch or start virtual machines, it will also shut down virtual machines. And that is done under this context. So look for this GUID in your Entra ID, copy and paste the name, or copy the name, how it, or which it translates to, right? So in our case, it will be the Windows Virtual Desktop application,
Hmm.
and give that application or the service principal power on and power off contributor rights to the scope where your virtual machines are in, right?
Hmm.
Um, After you have done that, we configure the scaling plan, and we'll perform these steps on your system. So please take it away
I
from there
will
and switch to your screen.
over, right? So first we will prepare the on-off role on this resource group. It's a group where also our cluster is. Of course, you can put your Azure Virtual Desktop session hosts in their own resource group, but we didn't do that. So here are our session hosts, at least the ARC presentation of our session hosts. So we go here to access control. And in the last video, we searched already for the GUI, and we know the GUID, and we know it's a Windows Virtual Desktop. So I can do a role assignment. Look here for Windows. It should type Windows. Yeah, it did, but it didn't find it. So we do it again. It's a bit slow today. Okay, I will. So now we have it. So here is our Windows Virtual Desktop, and we only have assigned the Power On contributor role here. Yeah.
So that's from the Start VM on Connect video, right?
Exactly. So we will add, where do we add this now? We will add it here, right?
Right. So you can go under add role assignment.
Yes.
And then type in power off, I think would give it to you, or
that would be a good idea, or power, and we should find it. Here we are. It's the last one, the desktop virtualization power on off contributor. You remember in the last video we did this one, but now we only want to save money by powering down resources, right?
Yeah.
So this one, then we have the next.
Which is to assign the members to which ones you would do it, and that's your Windows Virtual Desktop.
Windows Virtual. So this one it is, or is it?
Yes.
It is the application, right? Or the Virtual Desktop client?
Yeah, the Windows Virtual Desktop, the top one, right? And as you could see, I mean, it's depending a little bit on when you have registered your resource provider. I think, or maybe the naming will change at
I think it's
some
now
point in
Azure
time.
Virtual Desktop, but this is an old subscription.
Yeah. Okay, so we added the role
now
assignment.
We have it.
And these are the steps that needs to be done. Now the app has the right to power off also. And now we can go for the scaling plan.
Exactly. For that, we change to Azure Virtual Desktop. If you don't have it here, you can, of course, search it.
Yeah, you just type AVD and then it should bring up
So, and here we have our host pools, application group, workspace. We all did that already. And now we go to scaling plans. And there is none so far. So we create a scaling plan.
Okay, so
again, where should we place it? We place it in the same resource group. But you wanted to say something, Bernhard?
No, all good. I mean, you need to specify as for the resource group and the location. So make sure that all the Azure Virtual Desktop artifacts are in the same location, right? From a naming perspective or naming convention, I think it would make sense to sort of use a abbreviation for the scaling plan and then some sort of a identifier for the host pool where it is attached to or will be attached to, right? So that you can see from the resources that that it is assigned. A friendly name, you can assign one, but we can save time here. I think one of the other thing is the time zone, right? Because
time zone would be our time zone because we play with times. It would be nice if they are the time we have and not how you call it, Pacific Standard Time or so. So this is important. You're right. And our host pool type is pooled.
Is pooled, meaning a
We know
shared
that.
resource, right? And there is one thing like an exclusion tag. So if you may not want to have every session host being part of that scaling plan, you can exclude these ones with the tag. So
Yeah,
tag the session hosts by this exclusion tag, which you specify here, and it should,
yeah.
not
We
assign the
tested that, it
scaling plan.
worked, but we will not do it in this video, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Otherwise, you also always have to think, why is this host not
Yeah.
scaling down also?
Yeah,
So
we
it's
have nice
simpler
numbers.
now.
Yeah, we have
Mm,
nice
no,
numbers now with 10 host pools, and the maths is much easier for, for base of 10 than for base
yeah,
of 9 or something like that. Right. Okay. So we need to do a schedule. Where we applied, and there are multiple schedules available, right? So usually I think you would end up having two schedules, right? So
mhm,
one for the work week and the rest for the weekend
yeah,
schedule, right? Because you may want to do the scaling differently, whether it's work time or not. Okay,
mhm.
so let's maybe do just the weekdays, right? Because I think that's
Yeah,
the
of course.
most relevant part. Okay,
Yeah,
Monday till Friday is okay, at
yeah.
least for the
It's already
Europeans.
selected, so this is a use case that is
Hmm.
often there, I would say.
Hmm.
So we have different phases here, right? So
Hmm.
the first one is the ramp up phase. What does it mean, Bernhard?
So that's the time when when we are when the first people are coming in, and where we need to specify, okay, for the early birds that will come to the office, whether they should be able to connect to something or not, right?
Hmm.
And For example, at 8 a.m., right, the first person will find 20% of all the hosts available, right? So
Yeah.
that would mean at 8 a.m., on the right-hand side, you have 10 session hosts. That means 20%
Yeah.
of it equals 2 will be started at 8 a.m.
Hmm.
right away, right? So there
Hmm.
is basically no scaling taking place. It's just looking at, hey, what's the minimum percentage that I require? Let's start them up if they are not
Hmm.
already running, right?
So
So
if I would put 10% here, only one would be
yes,
started. If you put
right,
50 there, half of
right,
the host would be started.
right,
We go with 20 because it's nice
right.
that we see 20.
Okay.
So we have two other things here.
Hmm.
Load balancing algorithm. We have here breadth first and depth
Hmm.
first. So it's like it's how these hosts are filled. If we start up
Yeah.
two, the
Hmm.
first one is coming to the first one. The second user will be the first on the second host. Then
Hmm.
the third user will be again the
Right. So
first
that's
one, the
the
fourth. So they are
f-
spread evenly over the
right
host, right?
round robin amongst the hosts that are up and running, right? So it
Yeah.
would be for if at that time a lot of people come in, I think breadth first is the best option for giving a better performance for the login experience, because there will be a lot of logins, right, at that time. And rather than filling up one host after the other, I think it's good to have a breadth first maybe approach. But play with it. I think from a reasoning, I would go with breadth first.
So Bernard, what is the capacity threshold here?
Right. So we are in the ramp up phase. Capacity means, or we are expecting new users to log in, right? Because it's
Hmm.
starting work hours. And the capacity threshold is sort of, a number where the scaling plan configures when to start new session hosts, right? So, for example, right, so we have two session hosts up and running because of the 20%, right?
Hmm.
You specified the maximum number of sessions one single host can take is, I think,
16.
16, right?
16. Yeah.
Okay. So
If we have two
now we
running, that's 32, right?
32, right? So and 60% of 32 is let me calculate
Let me take a calculator. 32 times 0.6 is 19.2.
right. So
So,
if the logic is correct, then the 20th user, or around 90.2, that right? So I'm don't know if they are rounding down or rounding up, would justify a new session host to be started up.
Yeah, and we will see that here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if we have this plan and we are in the time where the ramp up phase is,
Mm-hmm.
it should start two of them. Then we
Yeah.
start logging on users, and when the 19th or 18th or 20th logs
Yeah.
in, there should be another host be started. And then I assume again at 29-ish next, or we will see. Yeah.
Right.
Let's look in the scaling plan. We will see if here another machine is coming, just to verify. Oh, there. There. You see it?
Mm-hmm.
So there is another machine starting. I haven't pressed any start also. So another machine is coming. The second one with the number with the name -1.
Mm-hmm.
AVD starts the numbering at 0,
Mm-hmm.
and you see here we have now 2 running.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do it. This is maybe it could be also other machines that are starting.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to be the first 2. So now we have 2 hosts that are available for users,
Mm-hmm.
and this is our ramp up fast. And I think at 12:25 the other phase is already there. So we should start with our
Yeah.
user login, right?
Right. Simulate, the boot storm.
Yes. So
And
I have
using.
prepared something for that. So we have 10
Mm-hmm.
Windows servers with this secret source from Marcel. We have a script here, and I have in every host, I can just type enter, and then the
Mm-hmm.
script starts, and it will log on a user, a different user. So we have 160 users created. So
And
it
that
will
was the
log on.
reason why you had multiple windows open, right? Because
Yeah,
one
yeah,
server
you see
or one
here.
machine would not be enough in order to create all the login sessions.
Exactly.
So you're sort
They
of.
need, they really start something. They need memory,
Yeah.
they need processor. You see
Right.
here, the first one is using AVD user 001 to 16. The
Right.
second one is from 17 and so on. Yeah,
Right. Right.
and the last one is starting 145 to 160.
Right.
So
So
let's go
you're
back to
using
our cluster.
multiple runners in order to simulate that
Yeah,
load. Okay,
yeah,
okay, so we should see something happening on that dialog. Okay, we already
yeah. We
have 5
already have.
sessions. And remember, that's not instantaneous, right? So the refreshes will help, but it's not something like, hey, we have that number right away. The portal
Mhm.
is lagging a little bit behind, right? So be patient here a little bit,
Yeah.
but we could see it
We
from the
see
right-hand
already the
side.
next VM starting. So there
Right.
should be around 19 logins at least
Mm,
taking place. But as you said, the portal it
mm-hmm,
doesn't have the information yet.
mm-hmm,
But we checked it before. So it was around
yeah.
the number we calculated. And remember, the VMs
Mm-hmm,
are already, we have 3 in each. We are on the third in each of the 10 windows. So we
mm-hmm,
are already around 30 logins.
mm-hmm,
Maybe not fully logged on, but yeah.
mm-hmm.
So you really
Yeah,
see
I mean, depending on the storage that you are using, right?
there's a next one.
There's a lot of traffic or storage traffic required for loading the profile,
Yeah.
um, initializing applications, right? That all requires or that all produces IOPS, and which can prolong the time for the individual user um, to be logged on.
Mhm.
Um, and hence that process takes a little bit of time, right?
That's a good remark. Maybe I should do, or you should do a log on to the pool.
Mm,
I don't know if you have it still running, so that we can see that there are multiple users logged in. Because if we have all 160 running, our hosts are full. Should I do that or you?
right.
I
So
want to, but first you have to give me the opportunity. So here's your login. And of
mhm,
course, There is a lot of going on. You mentioned already the profiles. We have our high available profile server, you remember. But unfortunately, I've only 1 gigabit from the session host to the profile server, and there's a little bit of a bottleneck here. So the
Right.
login takes a bit longer, and you are not the only one. There are another 10 users maybe, or 20 also logging in. So of course, this here is not really a production environment. For that, we would have to have a bigger network pipe to our FS Logic
Storage shares.
shares.
Host. Yeah.
Yeah. So you are logging in. I think it will be black for a while, but then it will get color. We know that already. And we are already at 9 session hosts here. So only the last one, number 10, is not running yet. And if I have a peek, how many sessions? So there was a glitch, but it will retry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 already. So we are over half
you may,
of the users.
Please switch back to your screen, right? Because the users can't see anything.
That's so true. So here you see we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in every host. So we are around 100 users, at least trying to log on. Every 30 seconds, another session will be started, and we have all 10 hosts running. So our numbers are maybe not the best for this number of users logging in, at least with our session, with our FS Logic shares. He knows now that all 10 session hosts are running, that we have already a lot of users logged on, and they are spread over the hosts here, right? You see here we have a lot of profile directories, and Bernhard's is from 1221. So if we look in here, there is your disk and the metadata. At least the scaling plan so far worked with our user storm, login storm. We got more and more session hosts. Okay, so we have 159 sessions. In the next video, we can also maybe show your session, and then we kill them all, right? See you on the next one, Bernhard.